My mother was a follower of fashions in her day. The cantilevered Conran unit was all the rage, she'd say. She bought it for the kitchen, but with no one else to help, it came to me to fix it up. Another bloody shelf. The cantilevered Conran came in 5 flat packs. You couldn't lift the buggers, but she had them neatly stacked, so we took away the cardboard and laid them on the floor. I went and got the electric drill and several other tools. We measured up the wall holes for accuracy and height, and then I started building it. The fucking thing was shite. First you fixed wood sliders tightly on the wall, then you fitted pine tongue and groove on sliders on the floor. I made 2 panels I'd say were 8x4, and then I had to lift the fuckers up and drop them on the wall, catching on the sliders I'd previously attached and hoping that I'd fitted them to make a perfect match. About 2 hours later I wondered, what's the catch? This actually was quite easy now I'm looking back. Then she pointed to the cupboards still lying in their pile. You're only halfway through, she mused. You've to stick them up in a while. The cupboards were not really cupboards, the top ones weren't at least. You'd call them open shelving blocks, well that's what I believed. The upper ones were 4 feet long and stuck out several inches. But how to lift them that high? They should have come with winches. The bottom ones had sliding doors, their tonnage was much more. But one thing I could start to see was nothing touched the floor. It was a cantilevered Conran designed to float in air. A wonderful illusion in modern kitchen de rigueur. There was nothing like the 70s for practicality and flair. But anyway we got them up and it really looked quite smart. The drawer holes instead of handles, it's a fucking work of art. All that's left, a long lip wood across 8 feet of cupboard space. That worktop's looking bloody good. I'm proud of my work and my mum's dead chuffed. I'm really quite good at building this stuff. Then several years later when I lived on my own, she chatted away and then said on the phone, you know that Conran unit, do you want it for your home? Well, I remembered its looks and its arty design. I'd never imagined it could actually be mine. So with no further ado I accepted in kind, and 2 days later I'd installed it with pride. I'd measured it up and drilled all the holes, fitted the wood panels tight on the wall, lifted the units quite quickly alone, rested on chair tops and held on my toe while I struggled to fit them all on my own. But hey, what the hell, I mustn't moan. Eventually I moved and stored them for a year, as I had nowhere else I could fit them round here. Then one day my friend, who'd admired in the past my suspended Conran with its touch of class, announced she would buy them. Oh, what a blast! No more fitting, well, more for me at last. Then a week later, I'm moving, she said, and guess where I'm going? I couldn't have read, her expression was glee, and the place she'd got was my old flat, my first single gaff. Well, Jane, I said, who'd have thought it? Maybe, she asked, you could fit those Conran units. Oh, for fuck's sake, I said with a smile. I thought that was all over, not just for a while. So I made my arrangements and returned to the flat to help my friend Jane stick the bloody things back. But look at the bright side, I don't need to drill. The holes are still there, and that's fucking brill. So back it all goes, to Jane's delight. Those cantilevered Conrans still look a fright. I just can't decide with the weight of the plates how that thing never collapses under the weight. But damn, it looks good. That 70s chic, now in the 80s design at its peak. A few years later, and now with a girl, life I must say was a bit of a whirl. Jane was about, and whilst we'd all been friends I never expected to see it again. But then came the call with delighted refrain, you know those units, I've bought them off Jane. Oh, for fuck's sake, damn, bloody and hell, will they never release me from this endless spell? Jane had moved out and Linda had stayed, but not in the flat, which left me dismayed. She had her own house 10 miles away. So the cantilevered Conran had travelled afar, but at least I hadn't carried it in my bloody car. So I made my arrangements, drilled brand new holes, offered up the panels on the new wall, balanced the units on chairs and my toe, screwed the things tightly with nowhere to go. Those cantilevered Conran units looking splendid as ever, but hoping extra long screws would act as a tether to keep it from moving and leave me alone. I'm not sticking them up in any other new home.